That, guys, I think there were some technical issues. I know we lost the screen. Exit the room myself and restart it. So just a quick check. You can see, right? Just want to make sure you can hear me and you can see the screen. Okay. Yeah, sorry about that. Which is, again, I think it's on my end. Now, here's another thing. In the room, I had a couple of emails that come in and we're wondering why, not uptight, but why am I so focused on this, okay, that I'm trying to. So here's the reason. First of all, a couple of things. It had earnings, okay, so it's still after hours on the 30th, so it's still kind of in play. Watch list. I look left. It has a nice percentage of void fill. When I take a trade like this, very tight stop. Remember, I mean, I'm in at 961, so no more than a 6-cent stop, 7-cent stop, no more than. For me, if it gets close back to that at 954, so 5 to 7-cent stop. All right, so that's the first thing. So why is that important? When I look at this void, if I'm, let's make the math really simple. I'm willing to risk $100 on this trade, and I have a 5-cent stop, 2,000 shares. All right, 2,000 times 5 is $100. So I look at that and I go, well, okay, if I'm only going to, I mean, I'm not saying it's going to get to 11, but if it got 70s, high 970s, you know, from 61, I mean, I could be looking at a 2, 3, 4 to 1 return. You know, you guys can do the math. So that's why, you know, it's got a, for me anyway, it's got a very definable stop. The VWAP now is the stop. The VWAP was, I think, 956 at one. So that's the reason why I'm willing to kind of stick, just in case it has that, you know, it starts to really start to fill. Somebody asked a Squonk, are you still here? Squonk 14. Paging Squonk 14, asking about not getting any of the RBI or GBI. And you have, yeah, maybe I'll just ask him. Oh, you're here. Okay. So I don't know exactly getting any. You know, when people are referring to it, they're looking at a chart. We do have it here, RBI and GBI. So you can load them here. It's not going to necessarily, the other people are talking about though, but this is, it's from right here. Okay, so if you load the RBI and the GBI, here are the 3 time frames for each. Okay. Well, then there's nothing triggering. It's, I mean, there are filters in place. It is moving up, so I'll try the RBI 5s and just see. You know, but for one thing, the way our filters are constructed here, you need 4 green candles in a row and then the red bar. And the red bar has to be. So, I mean, it's just possible that, you know, no stocks are meeting their criteria. I'll have that. I'll just keep this up. Get anything. It's just one of those things, you know. It's like, momentum down. These are the only ones today in momentum down, as an example. You know, yesterday there were a ton of them. All right, guys. I hate to look at this one again, but the VIAV is getting. So what else triggered while I was gone? Well, okay, so here, RBI 15, fives, they just triggered. Okay, PTN. That is just as, I think we consider dojis the R. That's why it triggered. Okay. AVO. Yeah, I mean, it's awful, but that's why it triggered. That red bar is totally engulfed by the bar at one point was above 90 cents. So it is working. So remember I was talking about, so that was not, that would never have alerted in that RB. There weren't 4 green candles in a row in the 15, number one. The bottoming tail was outside that green candle, but I personally think that's more powerful than actually having it totally. Again, what does that mean? Well, the next candle has to be green, of course. But at least the buyers close it within the body of that candle. They kept taking over. And this is what can happen. See, for me, unfortunately, and I'm going to tell you right now, existing filters and all, have this more customizable for me. So in other words, if it's 4 candles in a row up, maybe 3 or 2 or 1, or just, it has to be at least 1, of course. And then I'd like to be able to put filters in, relative volume filters. Is it up from the, like that? That's why, quite frankly, I don't use it anymore. So I'm still hanging on by a thread on the DDD. I mean, I'm still up. I mean, at 961, almost got out, but I thought, you know what? Wait to either the VWAP or the 200-day, and a couple of pennies. But anyway, we'll see. I mean, it has the chance. If some guy decides he wants to take a whack and pop it up. I don't mean a guy in the room. Okay, one moment. All right, guys. So remember, I was talking about fluid LR, and the fact that the AI got out because each one of these strategies is a very specific hold period. I believe the 5-day bounce is a 90-minute hold. Exited at 1759, and as I say, a million of the AI. You don't have to get out if it is AI gets out because it's an automatic exit because of a, and that's how this strategy has been optimized. Individual alert should be, in my opinion, managed on its own. So why would you get out? So I mean, there you are, 1759, getting to 18 now. So I don't mean, you might here if you got in at 1667 on that little pullback. To me, you would be holding this trade still. Hopefully nobody at Traderz is listening, but I mean, that's why I just don't agree with auto trading. It's a great watch list. Everybody wants to auto trade it, but to me, it's a great, and you can get into the trade. If you wanted to, in theory, maybe on the entry, but then manage the trade once you're in it, then that would be something that I would look. Because letting the auto trading the entire thing, I don't know. I don't agree with it. All right, DDD, I don't know. You're talking about DD or D? You're talking. I know there's a DD too, isn't there? Oh, okay. You are talking about DD. Okay, because is also. Dupont or DuPont. Ugh. I mentioned Avid quite a while ago. Oops. Oh, this is not available for you yet, but we're experimenting with have it. I don't know if this is going to be the final color arrangement, but earnings either after hours yesterday or okay, so the morning of or the day before after hours, it'll really alert you to the fact that a stock is having earnings. I don't know how far in advance we go. It might be 2 or 3. For instance, if a stock is having earnings on Monday, it would be in yellow. Give me one that's having earnings on Monday. Anybody? Either before the market opens, just to show you what that would look. See if I can find one. Okay, thank you. Let's see. So this is what it'll look like. Are you sure? Earnings then. Okay, I'm going to try apps. My theory, I didn't think it went red that far. What this is really trying to alert you to are those of you reasons. I mean, you want to find out the earnings plays for today. I didn't think how far out it goes. It's for people who are looking for swing trading. my feelings about holding through earnings. So just alerting you to the fact that something is, I want to swing it through earnings. Yeah, okay, let me look at it. Yeah, okay. So maybe it is Monday too then. So that's Tuesday. So that's highlighting in yellow. So maybe it's 2 days. But that doesn't make sense because you said Uber. Let me see Uber then. Okay, so that's right. So I guess it was in red. You'll see stocks that are having earnings after hours in the pre-market today, and then the next day. I would assume then that's Monday, so I would assume something in Tuesday, like the Amarin. That makes sense. Okay. For hours today, very, very few. Must be a foreign country. Yeah. Michigan. Why are they doing that? Very, 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 very few companies release earnings Friday afternoon after the market closes. Yeah. Companies that release that, it's just do that because, I mean, by people who have forgotten that you had earnings Friday afternoon. Yeah, but they're usually planned, Deb. It's not that they be wrong. I may be wrong, but you're absolutely right. Get all the good after the market closes. Maybe people will forgot. Okay, I'm out of the DDD, guys. That's it anymore. It's just yeah. So there's a on that. Well, a lot of times, Grumpy, that I've seen anyway, my experience is that, yeah, just because the buyout is not going to be acted on today, okay, and it may have to go through regulatory stuff. I don't know. I mean, it shouldn't. Well, I think in some form of regulatory oversight, but if you're waiting for the actual day that it happens, people aren't willing. They're looking at this big pop if they got in here and not wait. Just I'm going to tell you, personal like that. Absolutely nailed on something like that. Buyout supposed to happen. Even got written up wonderful buyout a day before it was supposed to happen. It was an awful experience. I'm not. Here's maybe an interesting one. ENPH. Take a look at ENPH and maybe a green bar ignored. Green bar ignored. Now I'd love to see that topping tail instead of a bottoming tail. H. And look at the weekly chart. I mean, look where it can go. You know, obviously there's the reaction to earnings, that daily candle right. A little glimmer of hope yesterday. But now, what's the low? Let's see, it's 18. So it's not that far away from the low. There you go, Grumpy. Anything can happen. So if I were some, and I wish I'd done this. If I were somebody who was speculating that it was going to happen, and I got, I think the speculation started right here. But let's just say I got in at 5, and I was thinking, yeah, it's going to happen. Why am I going to wait for another? You know, it's gone from 5 to 7. Why am I going to wait for another? Just in case something happens. Very, very strange day for me. 3 days. Little losses. The Pinterest short, and then the you know, the loco is really holding its own here. This will probably make the watch list. You know, it's a weekly chart. Oh, you don't do this to me, DDD. Through the view, it's making its way to the VWAP. DDD. Beat. Welcome, Samara. Are you a Trade Idea subscriber or just joining the chat? The trade. Okay. Okay. Just so you know, things here. Okay, so just so you know, if you, I'm sharing a lot of scans. This room drive folder looks like, icon, it looks like a half open folder. You click on that, scans that I share, you can download links that I have. that could be of interest to you, webinars and things like that. You can download. Both of them will go to a, you can look at them later, or you can click on the scan, all the scans that I'm sharing, and here are the links also. All right. And of course, you can ask me questions all day. By the way, guys, this is how I've opened up a duplicate. Excuse me. I want to keep more of a track. All right. So what I've done is, this is just duplicated the window. Then I sort. We don't get very many re-entries during the day, but I do want to see them. You know, now these are kind of out of the. I do want to see them. So there's the re-entry, for instance, for the for PATK. So yeah, it's a little spotty, but you know, the one from yesterday, the MMSI. So I'll sort on the full risk, top performing ones right off the bat, and then I'm going to sort on the re-entry time. So I see the re-entries, if there are any. Sometimes you'll have. Oh, USM, look at the USM. Never really appeared, didn't do any. It didn't appear on my scans in the pre-market. Look what happened once it opened and tumble. And this is, well, it may not be a lifetime low. Let's just check over 3179. So it's broken that. So more than 5 years, I don't care. So USM, it's a bit of a spread, 39.50. And there's almost a green bar. There's that downtrend, little green bar. The only problem is that it's outside that candle, but this still looks weak. For what? What is a 60-cent spread? Which one are you talking about? I have a 7-cent spread right now. Anyway, I don't think, well, never, but I have a 7-cent spread right now. $48.55. You sure? I mean, I got 48. I think my math is pretty good. 7 cents. You sure you're on real time? Susano Papel. South America. Where are you out of? Brazil. Brazil. Another earnings play. Could be interesting going. Look at that. I mean, look at the void. Not very much volume. For it, yes, 1.7 times normal, but you know, it doesn't, obviously doesn't. Wow, 107. I do my video right now, so I will put in the announcement. Friday afternoon. Talked about that before with the Fitbit. I mean, yeah, Google's made the 730. Not 100% guarantee it's going to go through. You know, somebody was pointing out that they're, go through regulatory bodies and all. I doubt if it's going to go live. So that's my comment. If you're wondering why it's underneath, if you were one of those, if you were a person who speculated at to happen because the rumors were right here on that day that it was going to happen, well, then why are you going to wait for another 20 cents? Why are you going to wait for another 20 cents just in case it doesn't happen? It can happen. And as I said, it's happened to me the day before. And I'm not talking about the day before it was announced. I'm talking about the day before it was all done. The deal got squashed. So thoughts. That's why. You want to speculate and buy here, get 20 cents? No. Okay. Be back at around 150. Just before I go, don't forget the test drive. You can click on that link, the test drive. The 11th. If you sign up now, you're basically pre-registering. You will get no. It'll cost you $8.99 for 10 trading days. That's assuming you can start on November the 11th. If you can't start on the 11th, 9 days, all right, and so on. It ends on whatever 10. It ends on, I should know, the 22nd, November 11th to the 22nd trading days. And again, it'll give you our premium service, just as if. Okay. DMAT, can you hear me now? I'll go over it one more time. Can you hear me now? Okay. So if you were a person who was speculating back on this day, which is what, 1, 2, 3, 4, that was the rumor that Google was going to make an offer for them. Okay. So if you were one of those up to $5, and now it's happened, they make the announcement. The price is supposed to be $7.35, but a lot of things can happen. Maybe it doesn't go through for some reason. They yank their offer, but who knows? Maybe some regulatory body says no. Who knows? Well, why would you, if you were one of these people that were in here, why would you hold when you've already made $2? Okay, because just in case, and I don't want to beat it to death, but a day before a takeover, and it got holding the bag. Okay. My first wife, my first and only. Just got to get the other announcement in. Maybe that's my, before I end the room today, that'll be my story for my Friday afternoon tale of. Unbelievable when it happened. Okay, guys, we'll see you around 1:50. All right, guys. You know, well, I shouldn't say obviously, but I've been doing a few trades on my own. But look at the watch. This is why I call it a watch list. Look at NTLA, 1343. I don't know where it's going, but I mean, it's now starting to move, 1366. So alert, you know, it fell off and then just basically put in 43. The the ARLP 5, it took out 12. Let's see. I mean, again, huge voids here. These things are in somewhat recovery mode. The FLIR, an 18 alert right there. I mean, it has room if it wants to. And there's the NTLA again, making it by a penny. And yeah, I mean, as the SPY is moving higher, I don't have that on my watch list today. Yeah, wow, big volume. You just came in. There's a pullback, pop. DDD, I don't know if I'm going to do it, but even DDD has come back a bit. Well, wow, so it's now above the high, 379. Started of well, last month, but right here. I can't do it. Where's Roku? Yeah, man. I mean, if you stuck it out, you know, from that trade of the week, right here at 106. Wow, that's like $40. It wasn't. It wasn't necessarily. You had to suffer. Not su No, it was right there, right? Yeah, no. I get it right. It was 3 weeks ago. So it was right there. Sorry, right there. So a little bit of pullback there, a little pullback. All right, coffee. I have to delete that. That's way too promotional. You know, we don't use. Do very well. May very well do very well, but we don't use terms like this is going to the moon and all that sort of stuff here. Okay. Yeah, it's a foreign. Where are they? Yeah, it's a pink sheet stock too. So. Hello, Siri. Yeah, nice. Uh, Yesterday before the market opened, in TLA from that 1343 alert from the watch list. Not quite. It's not a red bar ignored exactly. It's a little too, that the body is below. If it's just the tail below, great, but it's not body too. Boy, what so seems like that quick short on it right here in this area. Shippers. Okay, let's take a look. Yeah. Yeah, actually, look, I hate to look at these, but nice week it's had. Shipping all reels Christmas presents. It's been bought out. Thank God I don't have to look at it anymore. I don't have to look at it anymore. Okay, waiting for an 18 break. See if it takes. I mean, it's pacing just underneath 18 nicely. It's a little bit of. This still has some room. Look at that. It was a high of 2031 yesterday. Yeah, I mean, this is tremendously resilient. You too, be like water, Julian. Whew. If I caught that. Keep an eye on this flare if it takes that out. I mean, there's that. It's not a red bar ignored exactly, but very close. When did I get? I haven't got an alert for Sina. But remember now, this is, I don't know the first time. What's the volume? 700? Let me see what I have for 1,500%, 400% of normal, all that sort of stuff. Up at least 3%. So these are the filters that, remember now, earlier, this is just showing me when it last triggered. All right. So that's why I don't know when it first would have triggered. I to the momentums at all, even really the gaps. Been paying more attention, and some of the AI trades. Well, right here, yeah, momentum, right here, momentum up, momentum. Maybe you don't. That's why you're asking the question. For momentum scans, just click on the scans tab. Well, you'll see them. They're labeled. They're momentum. But so I'm assuming you don't see my screen. Look at the volume it came in. Is that you, Johnny? So did you hear my answer, Algemantis? Yeah. See, and I mean, I have to admit, I heard these are more market work. So when it is, I'll have to see when pins actually of the watch list. All right, let me just. So 1984. So actually, not bad. Actually, right around here, breaking out right there. Would have had to take out the high of the day. That's get up to had to take out the high right there. So there was your 84 for pins. Have you been in? No, you keep talking about it. Uh, Maybe I won't be worried. I mean, this one looks really interesting. The IC guy. Hmm. Okay, we have these bottoming tails on the fives. That's, well, maybe not. Encouraging. It was looking encouraging. Get more bottoming and knock it down. Get the buyers to keep it high. Yeah, an appropriate one for getting in. Egg. Oh, wow, look at this one. It's even shortable. Lifetime low. Boy, earnings in November 7th. Keep an eye on that floor, guys. Okay, you have to match what you want to, but it just Fleur just took out 18. I'll be back in about 3 minutes. Whew. All right, guys, CRC, another watching IC right here. See how well it holds for. Very little TE. Keep an eye. Trying to hold for. Obviously pretty speculative, but no resistance. So I've said this before, I'll say it again. We had 13 this week, 1,800 next week. So it is going to be the the most challenging in trying to keep your head straight. Lots and lots of activity. I believe next week is the biggest earnings release for companies. Watch VIAV. I hate to say it. Yeah. You know what? I mean, if it took out, I guess if it got to 1620, remember, there's no resistance. If it got to 1620, I'll probably make my watch list next week, assuming. Well, I would say it's the first quarter. When you say good months, I mean, or holiday, whatever you want to call it, holiday sale. It's the first quarter that you'll see the holiday sales, Christmas sales. So earnings are every quarter. So, I mean, this is just a quarter in which earnings are happening. But next quarter for the retailers, how they did during the Christmas season. Always after the fact. I mean, they're telling you what they did. Now, some of them may be trying to forecast a strong, that can be, guidance and all that. But truly, once they start releasing earnings in February, I guess. Sneak out, you know, well, this is what we saw, same store sales, you know, even before the official earnings is reported. You usually get an idea. Yeah, well, the problem, even if a retailer says they've had good earnings and you look at it, they open or whatever, I mean, doesn't mean you're going to make money that day. That's obviously. For me, it's all about managing my losses more than anything. Winners, but the losses, the losers, making sure the losers are, and not letting my ego get involved in thinking that, well, I had to be right, set up perfectly. How come it's not working? Well, it will work, and hope that it. You know, say it all the time. The $100 planned loss turns into $5, and then you're really, really ticked off. Trading, getting into. I mean, one could argue that I revenge traded VIAV, but I don't call it revenge trading. I wasn't mad at it. I still like the setups every time I got in, but I took very, very small. Yeah, I mean, you have to have, look, there are going to be people in this room, stop losses. I don't believe in them at all. I don't teach trade. One thing that I didn't used to when I first started, what a stop loss was. Now I'm talking, a few years ago, but those are for quite a while. I wasn't doing what I'm doing, but stop losses just can absolutely help and prevent you from blowing up your account. The problem is that when you don't put a stop loss, or you put a stop loss in and you ignore it, and then it comes back, think, you see, I didn't really need a stop loss. So those are the ones that you don't remember, the ones that you didn't put, that you had the stop loss in, and it kept going when you got out, because listen, we've all been there. You can't stand looking at it anymore. The losses keep piling up. And you think, man, why did I allow that to turn into this big? And then you exit, it bounces. You have to be prepared for that. Say at the beginning of the market, I don't generally trade in the first 15 minutes. A bit of an exception to my, I call it a rule, whatever you want to call it, early trades. But I know I had stop losses in place. And I'm fully prepared most of the time, first 15 minutes without me. And that's because when I used to, at the beginning, you know, they chop around and I get chopped out. And then later, so I just said to myself, you know what? I'm not going to drive myself crazy, you know, not being in this stock at the beginning of the day, it a run, because, you know, for the stock, probably 5 or 6 or 8 that don't do this and just kind of chop tails, big bottoming tails, trying to find a direction in the first 15 minutes. Well, yeah, well, in the first 30, it shouldn't be that difficult. First, putting stops at the bottom of a candle, but you know, it depends how you know, that opening candle is huge, but the thing is, if you can't identify where a stop loss is, then you probably should. How's that? You can't identify easily, then you probably shouldn't be taking the trade. You know, Real's got a very, he's cold and calm. 15 EMA or the VWAP or the 200-day. I mean, you know, I definitely watch 200 and the VWAP, you know, so I can use those as easy stop losses. Though I got out earlier, I didn't wait for these to hit. I got out earlier. Okay. The pins, yeah. I mean, the pins was interesting. We've seen some of these ones that, especially when they're keep going down. I mean, that's because people are thinking, well, why am I going to buy it? Now, obviously, enough people stepped in and said, I'm going to buy it. I'm going to buy it. And just started to propel it. But when you first look at a stock down so much, I mean, it's still down $4, guys. This could still have a big rundown on Monday. But we've seen many times where a stock like this with no support just keeps moving down all of the day. I mean, all stocks generally will have some bounce. I'm just going to put this in here now, closing the room at 3. As always, I will stay later if there are questions. And the links and all that again. So if you are a member of Trade Ideas, then you can have my scans, all the scans I'm sharing. Room drive icon, looks like a half open folder, scans that I share. The links have things like the webinars and my Trade of the Week, or the Trade of the Week videos, etc. Okay, so you can click that. These will go to a. You can look at them at your leisure. Otherwise, you can click on the scans tab, right? Scans that I'm sharing. All right, the links. I'm going to go over some of the links right now. So let's see. So the training, again, Monday to Eastern. The webinars, Monday to Thursday at 5 o'clock Eastern. All these webinars are. You should have Torps. You should have the latest on this link. On this link, you'll be brought to this page. Lewis TI Pro. You want to scroll down till it gets to the beta. The beta will give you right though. Okay, this is something we're experimenting. Well, not experimenting. We're definitely going to have it color coded. We'll see. But the new single stock window to paper trade and use this for really the addition. This has been available Brokerage Plus, their brokerage account, but now of course we've added the capabilities of paper trading, which so you have to have the latest beta to do that. You can take out a demo of Trade Ideas, scroll to the bottom of that link and sign up. I've already done my daily video. I do put it on Twitter. My Twitter account is BRUIN, BBruin at BBruin44. Sent to you before the market opens every Monday morning. Subscription tab at the bottom here. For those of you who are looking for swing trade, 3 ebooks for you. I even have a little blurb in one of them. BBruin44. All I do is I don't post any, well, I don't want to say not find out any personal information about me. It's just stock related, okay? And the test drive. Right there, the test drive. When you click on it, listen to me carefully. You sign up now, you're pre-registering. It does not start. See how it says starting? So you're pre-registering, and it'll cost you $8 an hour, 10 trading days, assuming you can start on the 11th and go to the 22nd. Start on the 12th, and it'll be 9 days, okay? And please don't ask for a discount. Once the test drive is over, I'll start you in a subscription, all right? Standard service, you can try our premium for those 10 days. Again, afterwards, you'll go back to standard. Of course, if you want to upgrade or you want after the test drive, there'll be a nice promo code. Okay, so that is the test drive. And of course, if you can't wait, you can click on that tab right there, or that link right there, to subscribe to Traderz. Promo code Barry4 Alpha, instant 15% savings off for the full year. When you click on that, this is the menu that you'll get. So there's a standard plan, 1060, 15%, or the premium, 2268 a year. I'll go over, look at this wonderful trade in Fluor so far. 660, 1818 now. I'm going to go over that trade again for those who don't quite. The idea that I think you should be managing these trades. Man and machine, as we say, you might, if you want to auto the entry, but I think the exits on your own. That's my personal opinion. But getting back, you don't have to, of course, take out a yearly plan. Start off, try us out. Monthly 118 less than 15%, or the premium 228 less than 15%. And again, these are not contracts. You can cancel at any time. But again, if you want to upgrade, you can upgrade premium or from monthly to yearly, and we'll honor that 15% 30 days. So the AI and how you get these alerts all day long, okay? There are more underneath, but just I shrink it down. I just sort on the ones that are up the most all day long. I think that makes sense. is there are 50 approximately what we that get optimized once the market closes. This market closes, the AI will start into its optimization process. What that means is, and again, as I say, this is not one of these, but if it were, start to just play around with these filter values, make change, see what happens, run the back tester. What happens to the profit factor? And is it affected greatly? If not, maybe moves on to another filter, makes another one. Maybe takes out a filter, 2 filters, adds 2 more. The baseline strategies have way more filters. So through all 50. At the end of the here we go. At the end of the optimization procedure, on my presented with the strategies that made the cut. These are the ones that, I've shown. These are the ones that made the cut and actually had an alert. There are some strategies nothing triggers, all right, because the filters aren't met, and actually had an alert. So that is the AI. Just want to, again, I go over this Fluor trade. It's important to know that there was the exit, 1759. So why did the AI exit at 1759? Why is not the AI still in this trade? It's working beautifully. The reason being, it has a hold period. They get optimized for a certain hold period. Example, I think, is an hour hold. I can see right there. Got out at 11:31. Okay, this is bounce is probably a 90-minute hold. So they get optimized for a certain hold period. But that's the overall strategy. As I say, the individual alert, I think, has to be managed on its own. This one at 1759. Now, why would you get out everything right here? Right? Why would you? Working well, and you'd still be in this if you were managing as a human would. So that's how I would. Okay, I use it as a watch list. I mean, I don't enter it right off the bat. I will wait, just like my watch list. I don't enter right off the bat. By the way, guys, let's see how this BBIO is doing from the watch list. You can see the huge gap right here. This was yesterday, actually. You can see right there. There's the buy. The buy was at 2095. So this stock is now at 2359. So again, you see a chart like this, you didn't have to get, if you wanted to swing it, it closed well, you could have. Alerts, or any alert really, it's up to you if you want to keep a trade as well. It has room on a daily or a weekly chart. It's up to you. I'm going to go Brokerage Plus. So Brokerage Plus, if you want to use this as your order entry, after broker's account, all right, if you have an IB account, you link this to, click on an alert, MMSI, see how the symbol, sell to short, buy to go long, of course, pick how many shares you want, and then you just do that. That's the most manual way to. So you want to get out of a position, or multiple, you can pick how many you want. You want to get out of a position, you use the flatten. You want to double your position, you want to reverse. You're long, now you want to go short, or go long. This is what I think most people notice, how when you right click on an alert, this trade comes up. You can set up your own buying and shorting parameters. Just notice today I'm in a build that's change the way it looks. So if you right click, you have to click on the strategies tab. When you new trading strategy, you give it a name. Is it long or short? and then your entry time, your order risk management, and your hold time. Okay? You fill these in. You say, okay, and then now you have created your own short scenario. And then you just one-click it and it'll trade it. And then last, but certainly not least, is paper trading. Like this. First of all, you don't need, and by the way, what I just demonstrated is the standard service, okay? And so is paper trading, part of the standard account. So how it works, well, there's really nothing to it. I mean, you click on an alert, now you're going to trade it. You want to buy it? I mean, it's really that simple. Just manage, and then you manage the trades with these. You can do the same thing here. You can set up parameters on one-click trading. So I mean, that's really all there is to it. The only trick is, I suppose, is you can either bring in your own little strategy or create a new one. And creating a new one is just filling these in. I'll tell you how to do this because it's up to you how you want to trade. And now what we're looking at doing, and hopefully it'll be, is that we will have a paper trading contest a week. The winner of the paper trading contest, that's the biggest percentage win, will win $500. All the winners, the 52 winners, will be thrown in and trade off against each other. I believe it's going to be for 1 month. And the winner of that, $10,000. So it's all free. You know, I mean, if you have our standard subscription every week, why not? You know, it's part of the service. Why not enter? You. And why we're doing it also is to create the idea that you're just not paper trading for fun. If you're truly trying to learn how to trade and all, oh, I'll take this one, or I'll take that one, I'll take that one. Try to figure out like why you're taking it and make the trade. It's either going to work or not, but it's behind it. So if we put some money on it, you know, that means that people will take it seriously. So conceivable, somebody could win $36,000. Somebody runs every week and wins the paper trading, the big Super Bowl. And these are not just day trades. Somebody asked before, no, you can hold them. I mean, now, you know, whatever it's done on Friday, if you hold it till the end of the week, then that's where the calculation will be. But I think how we're going to run it, have a minimum of 5 trades, and we're going to limit it. We're going to have price. So in other words, somebody who wants to buy a 1-cent stock and a double, not going to cut it. Yeah, you got 100% gain, but that's not going to cut it. So minimum of 5 stocks, 5 trades, and maybe a maximum with a minimum price. And I don't know what that's going to be. Is it story time yet? Yeah. You guys want to hear my story about how, you know, when I talk and how I literally fit, it's like it, you know, trying to hold out for that last 20 cents. So here's what happened. I was in a company for about a year, and it was a uranium play. Wonky to begin with, but it was a uranium play, and even more wonky was in Canadian stock. But as they always say, follow the person who was heading this company had done very well at 2 previous companies. One medium-sized one, and this was his next one. Following the money, following somebody who had done very, very well. It was always being set up, kept drilling, increasing the reserves. In those days, 2008 and 9, okay, and they right around then. Uranium. But guess what happened in those days? Of course, we had the big crash. It's going to be a tough one. But company person, somebody came along. I was in around $2-3. Company came along for I think $6.50 or $6.70, something like that. A lot better. We thought it was going to be more like 11 or 12, but so be it. Written up in the Globe and Mail, report on business was sort of like Wall Street Journal for you guys. He was written up as being a master of having been able to tough waters of the day, trying to sell something. We're just tanking. And yeah, he said, we were hoping to. So this is on a Saturday. It was supposed to close on a Friday. Thursday it gets halted. Now this stock is trading at $6.50, $6.70. Remember, I'm in around $2-3. It gets halted. We wake up Friday morning. I see a bit of a penny. Covered sort of to about the $2-3 level. To make a long, what happened is, because it was a uranium play, the person who was buying it, Belgium, and your government stepped in and asked our government to block the trade. Your government thought that maybe this guy and did not want uranium falling into the wrong hands. And that was it. The funny thing is that I had a pretty nice car at the time that had a little bit left, and that's what I was holding out for. The extra 20 or 30 cents would have been paid, and that's really why I was doing it. But I never thought that something like that would happen, and that's what happened. So here's my tale of woe. Meanwhile, more interesting. Yeah, it was definitely it was almost a life-altering experience, I'll tell you. But that was in 2010 when it actually happened, March of 2010. So it's 9 long years ago. Sorry you did that. That's funny. Guys, I mentioned it 100 times on that 18 break. Maybe not 100 times. I know I mentioned Ruth a lot earlier. Is a Ruth Crisp, isn't that Ruth Crisp or something, or Crisp or whatever it is? Not Crisp. Ruth Steakhouses. Ruth Chris, that's right. Really done nothing. I mean, I hopped around a little, but it's really done nothing. There was all the action in the first 50 next, and then really not too much. So guys, as we wind this week down, are there you too, Johnny? Yeah. Yeah, well, Friday morning waking up to and we were all on, you know, what the heck is going on? Number one, this wasn't announced on the day of the halt or any reason. There was no inkling of that. A penny bid going, okay, what am I going to do? Back in your filters. Okay, so you're using the channel bar, right? Okay, channel bar. And hopefully this makes sense. The channel bar is for everybody. Okay, so if you open a channel and you make changes, that would change it for everybody. So what you want to do is use the gappers every morning. Okay, I mean, you can do that, but what I now, first of all, you might want to look at my pre-market. Make more sense to you anyway, but let me just bring it up so I can show you what it looks like before I keep talking about, there we go, the pre-market actives. Okay, I use for my pre-market. Okay, and the reason I do that, see all the different columns, all sorts of different columns. So, you know, as I say all beginning, and that's what the pre-market channel is going to show you. The one, okay, so yes, that's the obvious thing to look at. You know, you're going to go on to that immediately. But afterwards, you know, you might want to look at this. In fact, it's already sorted on this. I love looking at this volume to 8% in the. Let me just get the sorting right again, because what this is showing me. Remember, I don't look at it when the market opens, but let's just say it said, you know, 100. All right. What that means is that that stock is traded. What that means is that stock is traded basically 100% what it would trade all day long normally, and it's done that in the pre-market. When you sort on that column, though, you might see something. Remember, your eyes are, but so you know the ones that are up 10% or the I have, but there might be one down here that's up, you know, 7%, which is still really good. When I click on this, or the float, you know, I want to see the low. It could be down a little bit further down, and my eyes just are not. I'm not. So that's why I like to, yes, immediately look at, because those are the ones that are up the most, of course. But then columns and seeing if I can find a little gem that is not obvious. Okay, so that's what I use. You don't have to, if you want, but if you want to continue to use scans, you know, that I'm sharing, but and anybody else wants it. But let me show you really your for years now, absolutely years. I love it. Just a second, let me get the change from the close. Okay. Now, if you want to use Here's the pre-market, right? So you're looking at the pre-market. If you want to use that, there you are, pre-market. So you want to use this and save it. You see, you're kind of limited in the number of columns you can sort on, all right? So it's going to sort on or the change from the close. That's basically the same. All you have to do is just right-click and then save or share to save and save, okay? That again. Right-click, save, save. So now it's in the, now you can, no, I shouldn't do that. Before you do that, you make your changes. Sorry. Changes, go to the configure, make the changes that you want, values, add some filters in if that's what you want to do, okay? And then save it. Once you've done that, then right click, save, save. So now it's in the cloud. Same thing for this one. Then if you want, you can or because I'm assuming then that what's happening is that you're using it in the pre-market, you're making it, and then maybe you're going to another channel, then you're coming back to it. Yeah. All you have to do is just bring it back then from the cloud, file load from the cloud out, but then you can save your changes. The reason is if you do it and it'll be universal. Changes may not be what everybody else wants. Like a channel, excuse me, and you go to HBO or something and you say, I don't, that's series, I don't want that. So you change it. Well, you've changed it for everybody. You like some of the programming in HBO, but not others. And just be the program director. So that's in essence what you're trying to do. When you make a change, and then when you go back, of course it's not changed because you will want the same change. Make sense? Okay. All right, guys, are there any other? Yeah, it's been struggling. Wow, it struggled to get through 8, pulled all the way back down to 779, and then look at the volume. Look at the volume in MPTN. Anybody can do it. Hyper trader. I mean, anybody. Are you talking about the paper trading competition once it's up and running? You have to be a subscription. So I guess the answer is no, not anyone, but have our. But anybody can do the trial. You're talking about the. We get the question a lot. Yeah. So the test drive. I do the test drive. And I think we usually do have a paper trading. In fact, have a paper trading. Yeah, the price alerts contest. It's not quite the same at all. So it's a little bit, well, it's a little bit different. But all the rules are here. So yes, you can enter. Not the same paper trading contest as I'm talking about with using Brokerage Plus. We get the question a lot. If I took the ticket again, the answer is yes. Well, I'm glad I didn't hop into Triple D for the fourth. I guess it's the fourth time. Third time, fourth time, I don't know. Still, again, right at the average. What a mess. All right, everybody. Are there any other questions? Beauty. Absolute. Even with that little not quite red bar ignored, not quite. I mean, this only triggered at 1797. Now, the reason is that, one of the filters I have in here, it has to be yesterday's high. No, that didn't happen until, up here. That's the reason. If you're wondering here in my watch list, that's because there's a filter that, the watch list, because, I think a lot of us might have thought that this was going to be a continuation. It turned out tremendous long, both from even my watch list. I mean, like that, 1797, 1844. And who knows where it's going to end up. If you've got, my little applause, well, I have an applause alert on it. Yes, you. Get plenty of sleep, guys. 100 companies next week. This was preseason, okay? We're in the big leagues next week. That's not true. The week before, last week, I'll call beginning of the season. Now we're into the playoffs next week. 1,800 companies. So the challenge will be to minimize the number of alerts. I mean, look, granted, these were not, as I said, I would not be looking today, but still a manageable number of trade of, and they get spread out after the first little while too. Three o'clock. So again, I'll stick around if there are any other questions, but if room down, I usually do a little going once, going twice. Sold. To closing the room now. Okay. For all the help all week. I always like to end up civility in the room, makes the job a lot easier. You guys are great. I'll open the room Monday morning at 7 o'clock, 9 o'clock Eastern time. So have a great day, and we'll see you then. Bye-bye.